Hello and welcome aboard for another tutorial where we cover a cool technique that you can use in tandem with Magic Palette. Today we dive into height maps. I'm Pepe from SandRush and I will help you to elevate your designs to new heights. So let's get started. What we do today, or where we work today, is mainly in MagicaVoxel, because MagicaVoxel, as one of the only voxel editors, has the possibility to work with shaders. And there are other tools that also can use height maps when it comes to voxels. For example, Cubicle has a feature that allows you to work with height maps. But MagicaVoxel is free, and it's quite powerful, and we use it a lot here to create maps and level designs for Magic Palette. So let's dive in straight away. If you never heard about shaders, no worry, it's not that tricky. I will link a short video or tutorial how you can get them up and running. For today, we use the Lachlan McDonald's MagicaVoxel shaders. He has published quite a few cool ones that we can use and hopefully also will cover in further tutorials. Here you can see some examples here already what is possible. This is all voxel based, so we work with tiny cubes today, but our main focus today here height maps. And to give a quick idea how height maps work, so it's basically a 2D image that you use to elevate or extrude into 3D. And it's quite simple. The darker colors, and in our case, the darker voxels, will be less elevated. And the brighter the voxel becomes, the taller or the higher it gets elevated in a range that you define. You have some options when it comes to this shader here in MagicaVoxel. You can blur the design. This is quite helpful and useful when it comes to tweak your design and make it more look more natural. You can, with auto balance, there's another parameter that you can dial in where you can set a range of colors where you want to have the height map happening. And you also can reverse, so it kind of builds downwards and not upwards. Some examples here already that are quite well illustrate how this height map function or shader works. We will use some prepared examples that I have ready for you guys. So let's see how we can make things work with MagicaVoxel. Here we are. Since we use height maps, I'm a big fan of just using this palette here, a grayscale palette, because later we still can add colors or more shaders or more details, but to get things going, especially with height maps, a great gradient or selection of colors with a nice and smooth gradient helps you to push the design the best to voxels. And the shaders are located top right here where this bracket code icon is. You see I have installed quite a few shaders. There are multiple different ones that we can cover, as said, in a further tutorial. And for today, we look into height map. For this, we need an image. We can use any image basically, but of course, we want to use something that has a bit of a range when it comes to the brightness. And we import the project, and you see right away the picture becomes a pixel image, or in our case, a voxel image. We can see the single voxels down here. And this is where the fun starts. So basically what you already can imagine here, we go into the model, we say we want to define a height range. In this case, we go like, let's say 100 or so. And you also see already here, I trimmed my image to 192 by 192 pixels. This will give me an accurate size here in MagicaVoxel that reflects to a 2 by 2 land in the sandbox where we want to play these levels and designs later on. This can be scaled here. This can be scaled in Photoshop or whatever photo editing program you use. But it helps to be precise on your size of land that you want to work on. So we have more space now in the building box. And with Heightmap, we just, each shader runs the same. You can reset, but you can also run it with this little play button, top right, underneath the parameters. We keep it as it is for now and just let it run. Of course, we need to be inside of the model. And you see already, it did extrude our valley or canyon here quite nicely. One thing that we notice here, it's a bit grainy and it's still quite flat. I mean, for some levels, this might be perfect. We can go, let's say, much taller. And there's a reason why this is quite flat elevated. You see, we have a lot of gray tones. We don't have super bright or we don't have white. And with the gray tones, it also means, because now it uses the full palette, it only extrudes up to, let's say, 50% of the height that I give the shader to work with. This can be, of course, changed with selecting our own range, or just give it a bit more room to work with. And as you see, if I run the shader again, this looks quite cool now, like a canyon. What I don't like here, it's still grainy, so we want to change that with the blur setting here. Let's see what we get with 2. Yeah, nice and smooth, quite natural, I would say. So this is cool. We can quick render this. Sorry for taking the render settings to be adjusted a bit so that we see what we to work with, maybe even a bit brighter. And the resolution is also quite low, but here you see our canyon. And I would say, especially for maps, natural terrain, there are many softwares and editors where you can create or grab from actual real world samples like this one, grab a height map or design your own height map, or even paint your own height map in Microsoft Paints. It's all about the values and how do you say, the gradients that you use, and these then will be reflected. I will show you some more examples now so that you can get a better idea of what is possible and why this is so exciting, not only for natural terrain, as we see here. So let's import another image. For example, this one. It's a smaller section, but if I'm correct, yes, it's already also scaled to 192 by 96. This means it's a 2 by 1 land in the sandbox, once exported and translated into blocks. So therefore we can also do here, we need a bit more height, of course, maybe not that much as we did with the canyon, but what we also don't want here is probably blur, because it has quite hard edges. As you can see, it's a cityscape, or a kind of a section of a city map, and we just let it run. And as you can see, this gives us these tiny little skyscraper, and this section here will be the sea probably. And it gives us quite a cool map just with a few pixels or voxels already. As you can see, of course, we would color now the sea blue and all that and make it a bit more exciting. But it's quite cool because it gives you these volumes just out of the brightness that each voxel is on your sample. So let's check some more sophisticated designs like this eagle. This is coming, the whole technique is also used by engraving, laser engraving, and similar techniques that use this kind of data to work on materials, and the intensity of the laser will be dialed in based on how dark or bright a pixel is. As you can see, once again, we have a 2x2. And what we want to do is, of course, we also want a bit more height here so that we can let the shader run. We see what we get. Ooh, this looks spiky. This is from the top. You can see the image quite clearly. It might be a bit too extreme to be considered as a level, but if we start to use maybe blur 4, let's try. Yes, very nice. See the peak. It might be a bit tall still. And yeah, this is where the fun starts. So really, you can work actually with any image, as you can see. With more range, you have more depth, of course. And the cool thing here is you can imagine that you can walk all the way uphill on his peak. Maybe we build a bridge here from here to here or so, and build something nice here later on, or indicate that we want to have a temple here or whatever. And maybe even make a platform way upwards if we expand further, so that we can have the player at some moment of the game really see this image here, or kind of the full landscape in 3D, because usually the player side will be like this, you know, and he never or she never can imagine what actually she walks on. So this will be quite cool to explore a bit further as an idea. We keep it like this for now and see what else we got. So we have a wide range of samples. Here's a similar one. This owl engraving here is quite neat. So we only go 20, maybe not that blurry. Let's see. So this could also serve us as really huge, how to say, backdrops maybe in a level where this might be not playable directly or walkable kind of, but could be a huge scenery in the background that otherwise is almost impossible to create. And because it's block based, it's quite unique. If you assign the correct colors and nice shading here as well, then I can imagine that this will look quite cool. So one other thing that we see here is you can also limit your color range. As I said, this one is the same as we have here, I think. Let me check. But The one on the right side is now with only 24 colors, while the one on the left side uh, uses the full color palette that we have here. And I think 24 is more than enough. What is great about limiting your, and you see almost no difference here, what is great about limiting your palette is that you afterwards don't have hundreds of blocks to assign, because each color, as we know, becomes a block in Magic Palette, and this is why we better limit ourselves to a bit less. The details won't suffer, as you will see. We just go, in this case, we can go a bit high. I mean, actually, we can go full height. This will be 128, which is the max height that a sandbox land can have. So let's dial this in and see what we get out of the box. We once again get quite a spiky terrain. Let's move this out. Yeah, this looks much better already. Maybe in 6 is there? Yeah. So this looks supernatural and very cool in my opinion. We can kind of, oh, let me check. Yeah, you see when I color these gradients, let me go back again so that's better visible without the selection. These are the colors that I have. Should be 24. If I, of course, I can fill everything with the same color at once, but you see now I get almost a few very bright tones up here. Okay, that should be. And this will be quite cool. Oh, I see rendering needs to be set to sparse geometry. So let me see everything here. And yeah, these are some very nice mountains that I can build with and work on. This is once again a 2x2 and is ready to go, kind of. Of course, I would now apply other shaders and more details because just a few hills doesn't make a game. But still, this is an amazing starting point, I would say, for a large map. We can apply, for example, where is it? The cover one, I think. Maybe I just take. I need to be inside cover, and then yeah, let's run this one. So as you can see, this one covers the top surface with another layer and gives this quite Minecrafty dirt and then grass on top structure or design. And we don't care much about the color right now here. It's of course just gray. But as you know, in Magic Palette you can switch to any block and any color at any time. So we're happy to work with grayscale for now. And yeah, last but not least, we have this ornament here. Also did prepare. So when it comes to more, let's say, graphical designs or ornamental designs, let's go not too tall here. We go back to Heightmap shader and see what we get. It's a start. We probably want to blur it. Yeah, that's nice. Really like that. Let's focus. Let's render. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, look at this landscape already. Imagine standing here. Maybe this is a design for a hub level or a virtual space where you can explore various chambers or some educational content that then will be built on top of this structure. You also, of course, always can kind of alter and really quickly adjust your designs to your likings. I, for example, want to try something, maybe make a copy and flip this one over, not like this, to be z-axis, like this. And when we have both of these, it's already a super fancy floating island type of maybe even alien structure or whatever that you can start your level design with and evolve from there. So I think this is exactly where height maps are super interesting for us as level designers to work with, because they give you so fast really cool results. Really natural terrain can be done very nicely, as we did see before. But the sky is the limit, as usual. And yeah, let's cover some more shaders in further tutorials. Give us a like and subscribe, and see you next time.